Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be carrying on with our regular schedule, and this time we're still using our stash. So what we're going to do today, we're going to be using the stash or the craft stuff. We've still got it lying around in our craft rooms, in our living rooms, and we're going to make a 5x7 gift box, but we're going to make it with a sprung lid. Now this is very easy. You make the box in the same way. It's how you treat the top. This isn't the top, this is actually the base. But I'll show you everything we need to know as we go along. I will give you all the measurements, and all of the measurements will be in the description box below this video. Just click on the word more and it will all drop down and you'll see everything you need to know. So let's get started. So to start with, you will need, we're making a box that is 1 inch in depth. So you will need 2 pieces of card which measure 9 by 7 inches, and we're going to score it. I've already done this just to save some time. We're going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides of both pieces. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just cut up the tabs like that. Like that. So we're just going to free the tabs, and then what we're going to do, we're just going to cut a little wedge out from each side, so that when we put the box together, for those who might not have seen boxes made before, I'm sure you have, but we may have some newcomers to box making with us, so I'll just show you very quickly. So we're just going to cut right up to there. I'm not quite sure why the camera seems to be so far back this time, but so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my boxes and put them on the floor. Then that's better. Then I can show you what we're doing. Now the sun is pouring through the window. I can't see a blessed thing, but never mind. We'll carry on anyway. It's not particularly warm, but it's the sun. Well, I think it is outside, but the sun is blazing through the window and it's absolutely glorious. So what we're going to do that on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. All I can see is a dark blob through the window where the sun's shining, but hopefully you can see that. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over and we're going to fold and burnish on all 4 sides of our box. This is the box base, and I'll show you what we do with the lid when we get there. It won't be long. So just bring the tabs in as well. Just bring them in. These little bits in the corner, they're called the tabs. And we're just going to bring them in very quickly. We're just going to get this, we're going to get the box made up super quick. Then I'm going to show you how we deal with the lid. So what we do, for those who may not have seen it before, we put some glue. I'm using an ordinary PVA style glue, a quick grab glue as it's often called, because it grabs quickly, which is why it's called a quick grab glue. Complicated, isn't it? And just pinch it together. Hold it until it sticks. You can put some tape on this first if you wish, or some runner tape, or some double-sided tape. Sometimes I do that, just for that instant stick. I sometimes put some tape on it. But you know what? If you use an instant, or if you use a quick grab glue, it's not really necessary. So we won't do that today. We might do it in another video, but we won't do that today. Let's just make sure that that's in, otherwise the lid won't go on. Okay, so we're going to spin that round and do exactly the same on the other 2 tabs, like that. Just put some glue on, pop the glue to one side. We will need the glue again in a minute, so I won't put it too far. Pinch that together. Make sure that if I show you this way, if you make sure that that fold is flush with the edge of the other box, or the other bit of the box, make sure that those edges are absolutely flush, and then your box lid should fit perfectly. So that's probably enough time to keep it together. So sometimes what I often do is I just give the edges or the sides a bit of a push. So just push them just to keep them straight. So that is the box base, and we put the lid together in exactly the same way. The only difference is I've used a paper punch, a 1 inch paper punch, and what we do, I'll show you how we do it. I know I've already done it, but I'll show you what we do. You put it over to halfway. What you do is you just line it up like that, give it a press and it'll snap out very nicely. So what we're going to do now, we are going, oh, that went on beautifully. Perfect. What you really should do is make sure that the glue's dry before sticking the lid on or putting the lid on. But that went on beautifully, much more smoothly than I was expecting it to. So that was a surprise. Sometimes it's a bit of a fiddle to get on when the glue's still wet. But hey ho, it slid on beautifully. So that's fantastic. So now we're going to decorate the lid. Now this is how we're going to make our sprung lid. So the lid itself is flat, but we're going to make a sprung decoration. Now, if you want to, you can add a piece of pattern paper just to make it a bit more decorative, which is what we're going to do. So this is a 5x7. As I say, all of the measurements will be in the description box. And I'm going to put the rest of this together with an ordinary quick grab glue. So let's get this done. So splodge some glue on there. Splodge, that's a technical term of course. So we'll bring that back to the centre. Because that sun seems to be getting even brighter. The brighter the sun is, the darker my screen seems to go. So I hope you can see more than I can. So I'll have a look back in a minute when I've finished. So I have actually, although I said 5x7, I think I might have cut it at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I've made just a little border. But if you want to make that flush, cut it to 5x7. If you want to, just make a little border. But how big a border is up to you. If you want a larger border, cut this bit smaller. If you only want a tiny border, only cut a tiny bit off at 2 of the ends and you'll have a wonderful border. So just a little one. So I'm just going to have a little border. Now, you will need, for the sprung part, you will need 2 pieces which measure 2 by 4 inches. Let's just pop the box to one side. We're going to need it in a minute. So you need 2 pieces that measure 2 by 4 inches. And what we're going to do, we're going to just fold these in half. You can use your bone folder if you want to. So what I do, you could score it if you wanted to. You could score it at 2 inches, I don't bother. Just fold it in half, burnish it with your fingers, and then just to keep it sharp, run your thumb and forefinger across there. And so this is part of the sprung method. There are two parts to this system. So what we're going to do, whatever you do, don't glue these parts together, because this is part of the spring. There are two methods to this, or there are 2 parts to this method. So put a piece of glue, put some glue on the back. We're going to put this roughly in the centre. I'm not going to measure it. I'm not that precise. But if you want to measure it to make sure it's absolutely central, you can. I'm not going to bother, because all the time this is wet, you can still slide it around. So we're going to put one there, and the other one we're going to put there. But there is another part to this which will complete the sprung mechanism. That's only part of it. So don't run off yet or you'll miss the next part. So just open it out, stick it down. Just make sure that they line up. Just make sure that they're in line with each other. And I'd say that's just about central. I've not measured it and I don't intend to. But that's central enough, I would say. Now the next thing you need 2 other pieces which measure 1 by 2 inches. And you're going to score it. I've just cut off an overhang from this. You're not going to see this bit, but they do act as part of the spring mechanism, the second part. So I've just cut off an offcut from when I cut this paper. So we need 2 by 1 inches, and you're going to score at half, at 1 and 1.5 inches, and you're going to do that on both pieces. Now, the easiest way, some people say, oh, do a mountain fold, a valley fold, a mountain fold. Now, don't worry about that. I'll show you a simpler way to remember it. Fold the thing in half so that the pattern paper is facing you. And then all you need to do is the top part, fold it back, flip it over and fold the other part back. So I'll show you that again. Fold it in half so that the pattern side is facing up. Fold that bit back, turn it over and fold that bit back. And then you have the second part of your spring mechanism. So we are going to put that in the middle. Now, all we need is a tiny, you don't need much glue. And when you put the glue on, make sure it only goes on this bit. Don't let it go on the other part. Otherwise the spring won't spring up. So we're going to pop that in the middle of part 1 of our spring system. And what we're going to do is just give it a push to make sure it does spring up and it hasn't glued itself together. So that's looking good. And we're going to do the same. Well, just so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to spin it round. So we're going to do the same thing again. So the flap faces towards you on each side. So we're going to put that like that. So once it's all folded, don't put too much glue, just enough to hold it. Now this is only paper, so it won't need much, but it does need to be enough to hold it into place. So that top fold, make sure it's facing you. And again, make sure it springs up. And indeed it does. Perfect. And make sure that this bit isn't glued down either. These parts are the important bit, but this base will give it a bit of a lift. Now, the only thing you need to do now, unless you're going to put a sentiment on your box, I'm not going to yet because I don't know what occasion it's going for. You need an image to go on the front. Now, I've just pulled something out of my image drawer, and it's this beautiful little scene, and I've just brought, as I say, I've just dragged it out of my image drawer. And what we're going to do, now this is where you do have to be careful, just put a spot of glue there, a spot of glue there, just a small bead, put the glue out of the way. Now this bit does get a bit fiddly sometimes because you do have to make really sure that the glue doesn't stick to anything but the back of this. So we're going to lay that over there like that. Hold your springs down. Now do make sure you use glue and don't use tape, because if you get it in the wrong place, you've had it. It won't come up and it won't spring. So hold it down with your 2 fingers on one hand. With the other hand, place your image. I'll give you the size of the image in just a second. Let me just lay this down. So hold it until it's covered, and that will come up. And there you go. There is your lid. There is your box with a sprung lid. Now, I did promise you the measurements. Now, the measurements for the top piece, this top piece here, are 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And as I say, all of the measurements will be in the description box below. Now, if you want to add a sentiment to that part, or maybe up here, or if you want to add a bow, this is one of those projects you can make it as simple or as decorative as you like. You could put some bling in the corner, you could put some flowers in the corner, you could put something to do with this. This is a river scene, so you could put maybe some river animals or some flowers. But I'm going to leave mine like that, and it bounces quite nicely. But of course, if you wanted your lid to be the other way, you have to adjust the size, because this wouldn't go, that part wouldn't go that way. And just put the spring parts the other way round. In fact, they would stay that side, but you just have to adjust this. So there we go. There is our box with a sprung lid. But it's not actually the lid that's sprung this time. It's the embellishment on the top. It's the decorative part on the top. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you have a go at yourself. And if you do, please do come and join us over at Crafty Capers with Dawn. We'd love to see your version. And of course, you can make different sizes. You can put this either on a box, you can make them and put them on a greetings card. So if you're making a 5x7 greetings card, you could use exactly the same measurements that I've used for this project. And instead of making a box, just make your card and make that your focal point. In fact, we might do that, or I might do that for another card. Obviously, I wouldn't do it as a project because it's the same thing. But what I might do one day is do this again and show you what it looks like with a card. But of course, go ahead and have a look. Have a go, have a look, delve in, have fun and see what you come up with. And as I say, do come and show us, because we'd love to see it. And so that's it for today. I will be back next week now, and I will leave you to enjoy your weekend. So I'll be back on Tuesday now with another project for you. So until then, take care everybody, have fun, And as always, happy crafting. Bye bye for now.